The big game is fast approaching, but wait, you still haven't got your tickets. You've spent hours searching, but you're still confused about ticket prices. Time to stop searching. Visit ticketcompare.com. We compare ticket prices for all the popular leagues and tournaments for you. We work only with the most trustworthy sites, so you can have peace of mind when buying your tickets. Compare prices, buy tickets, get to the game. Ticketcompare.com. Buying tickets made simple.
Hello, Rafa.
Okay.
Rafa, obviously you've got the match tomorrow, but what are your plans over the next few days in terms of training and preparing the lads over this Christmas period?
No, we will train after the game and before the next game, so we have some time on the pitch, and after we'll give them some time to enjoy with the families.
Is this a new challenge for the players being in the bottom three, giving them something to aim at now they need to try and get out of trouble?
Yeah, to be fair, I was analysing that and then talking with them about our position and our bad run. So we were doing well. That is maybe our problem, that we were doing so well that everybody was expecting that we could be in the top of the table, or the top of the table, more or less. But then we are in a bad position. We have a bad run, but at the same time, you can see that the team is working so hard, is so close to get results, that still we have a lot of confidence that we will do well and we will stay in the Premier League.
Yeah, you sound positive, but how concerned are you about the recent run of defeats?
Yeah, we know that it's a bad run, but some of these games is 1-0, or you lose for this 1 goal margin. So we have to learn, we have to be sure that we don't make the mistakes that we are making at the moment, but we have to keep the same team spirit, the same fight, because the team is against Arsenal is a great team. The reaction of the team, the last 20 minutes, we were there, we were creating chances. So that is the positive thing for me. It's a group of players that they are not giving up, and that is the key for the future. When I came here, when I decided to come here, the team was in a very bad position with just 10 games to play. Now we have a lot of games to play. We have a very good group of players, and they care and they are trying.
Is your biggest challenge right now ensuring that spirits and confidence remains high?
Yeah, obviously the way to do that is change little things in the training sessions, change sometimes, as I say, is the shape of the team, the system, our players, and be sure that we create a good atmosphere in the training sessions, and then they compete every single training session. They are competing, they are working hard, and it's just to be sure that we can win one game and change the mood and change everything.
Are you doing anything different in training that you
Yeah, we change the exercises, we change the order, you change competitions, or we create competition between them. So it's just a lot of things that we are trying to change, to be sure that they continue working really hard like they are doing at the moment.
Obviously the transfer window opens in just about a week's time. There's obviously been a few reports already. One that there's a deal in principle for Kennedy. We know you looked at him in the summer. Do you have an agreement there for him?
No, in terms of transfer window, we don't have any agreement with anyone. So at the moment we are progressing, trying to be closer, but I don't know the budget that they have, and then we don't know how much we can spend, or the value of a players, or if players will be available or not, and if we have to move players before to bring players. So at the moment I don't know anything about that. It's just we are working on that, but without any decision. In terms of names in the press, some of them is impossible for us. So the reality is that we have to understand that we have to keep focus on football. The people, the scout department are working on names, and I have had conversation with Lee, and we know that we are trying to do things, but there's still nothing finished.
I guess you'll want to get the transfer business done early in January. It's a difficult window at the best of times, but with the takeover happening as well in the background, and then we saw the mistakes that were made in the summer when it took a long time to get players, and how crucial is it you get it done early?
Yeah, it's really important, and also I would say before that people say, oh, you will have this or that. We haven't received any any offer for any of our players that say, oh, you will have 20 million for this player or 50 million for the other one. So it's not the case. Then we have to do things as quick as possible, and I have the belief and confidence that Mike Ashley, 20th of January, we have to be there with everything done. So I have confidence that he will do it.
Has there been any interest from other clubs in Alexander Mitrovic?
When I say interest, and I was giving you the answer before you make the question, is that we don't have any offer from anyone. There's the people say, oh, this one, the one, yeah, but I don't have offers. So that means that we have to deal with what we have at the moment.
I know you don't like talking about names, and you've said certain players that have been mentioned in the media are unachievable, Newcastle can't get there, but the guys like David Luiz and Daniel Sturridge.
I give you the answer that without you making the question.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, but in the future, are they the sort of players, that calibre of players, is that the sort of calibre of player you'd like to bring here to Newcastle United in the future?
Yeah, I would say something that I said before. When I came here, it's because I believe that this club can be one of the top teams in the Premier League. Then we have to do things right, and we have to stay in the Premier League, and we can compete next year with the Premier League money. We can compete against any one of these teams apart from the maybe top 6, but we have to do well this year. We have to be sure that we stay in the Premier League. It's the main thing. So I have confidence that we will do it because the team is working hard, because I have also confident that we will do something in January and we will give a lift to the team, to the fans and everyone. So it's what we have to do. If we do that, still I believe that this is a top side that can be at the top of the table in the Premier League.
Thanks, Rafa.
Cheers.
Rafa, how important is it to you to get a very clear idea of what budget you have, or are you content with where the discussions are at the moment over the transfer window between yourself and each other?
Will be ideal, yes. That is the case at the moment, no. Are we working on names and possibilities? Yes. I am confident that we can get what we want. In some cases maybe, in some cases it's more difficult, but I have also confident that Mike Ashley will deliver what we need to stay in the Premier League before the 20th of January to be sure that we have time to work with them.
And you referenced when you arrived at Newcastle back in 2016, the 10 games that you had to try and keep them in the Premier League. How would you compare the challenge that you faced then coming into the club with the challenge that you're facing now, again trying to keep the club in the Premier League?
When I just arrived, we have a very good team, but we have a lot of injuries and some positions that we couldn't cover. And I think I will say we were unlucky in the first games because we have to play against Leicester, Sunderland, Norwich. We didn't have time to compete against Leicester that won the title, or Sunderland, Norwich that was too early, and they were our rivals at the end. So we did well after these first games, but it was not enough. We didn't have enough time. Now we have time. We have a good group of players that they want to work hard, and I am concerned about the bad run, but I am sure that as soon as we win one game, the confidence will go back and we will start doing well as we were doing at the beginning.
Looking ahead to West Ham, another side who've changed manager in the Premier League this season, and they're really starting to pick up, aren't they, under David Moyes?
Yeah, I think that we are talking about a very good team. So we have been talking about managers changing, but to be fair, they had some good players, and maybe it was the confidence or whatever, but they are reacting, they are doing well, and then what we have to be sure is that for us, we have to put all the effort there to be sure that they have a difficult game, and everything can happen in the Premier League, so we have confidence that we can beat them.
Speaking to Rob Elliott earlier, he was saying perhaps earlier in the season Newcastle were playing teams at a good time. You've come up against Everton and West Ham, I guess, are examples that you're coming up against them just as they're changing their manager and changing their fortunes, a case of perhaps bad timing, I guess. Yeah,
well, Leicester, maybe Everton, and now West Ham, but you can change things, so I don't know how you say in English, but the third time maybe is the time that we will change things.
And just finally, team news on that game.
Yeah, we have Mitrovic still with some problem in his back, and Gamet has had an operation in his ankle. They had little problems, and we have some knocks, some little problem with the other players, and we have to decide before tomorrow.
How long are you expecting Mitrovic to be unavailable for?
I think 10 days, around 10 days, 1 week, 10 days maybe.
Okay.
Rafa, the next 5 games starting at West Ham, with the exception of Man City, they're all teams around you. So obviously they're all matches that will happen before we really see what happens in the transfer window. How pivotal a part of the season could this be, do you think?
Yeah, I think That is an important thing for us. So the team still is fighting, still is trying to win games and reacting when we have some bad results during the game. So that is positive. If you play against teams around you, you play against teams that they have more or less your level, then you can compete. And then, like what I say, if we win one of these games, everything will be different. We'll be higher in the table and we'll have more confidence. So it's just to be sure that we approach the game with the belief that we can get the result that we want.
A few games ago you were talking about a 20 points. Wouldn't it be great to get 20 points at the new year and then 20 plus in the second part of the season? Obviously you've still got a little way to go to get to that halfway point, as it were.
We will get 25 in the second part of the league.
But I just wanted to, how difficult is it when you face a period like this where it's 4 games in 10 games, something like that? Do you almost have to write down 4 pieces of paper and say, well, that'll be the team for one game, that'll be the team for the other? Because not everyone can play every game.
I can't do that. I could do this maybe when I was in Liverpool, and then after some years I could manage a squad. Here is you have some injuries and you don't have too much experience, so you cannot say, oh, I have one team for this game, one for the one. So you have to be sure that you see the players are fit, available, and then choose the best players possible for every game.
Is it fun or not for football people at Christmas with so many games? I know players would say they'd rather play than train, but is it fun or is it just too much?
I think it's something that they're used to do it, and then for me it's fine. So we have to approach things like they are coming, and then I like to play games. I like to stay with the family, so we can do both things. Fine, but sometimes it's harder for the families than for us, but we have to do it.
Fans would like a win for Christmas. Could you oblige?
We want a win for Christmas, so I am as disappointed as any of the fans, because we knew that we were doing well, and we have to go back to the good habits.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Take care. Cheers.
Thanks.